Strategic goal is to increase Egypt's competitiveness, encourage investment opportunities, improve human resources, use modern technology, and apply the best ways to promote tourism locally and internationally to attract the largest number of tourists from different markets, encourage domestic tourism, and increase tourism awareness.
Well, to shed more light on the latest achievements in the tourism sector, we have the pleasure to have this phone with Dr. Amr Atif, tourism expert and holder of PhD in Heritage and Museum Studies. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Well, Dr. Atif, how do you weigh the efforts that are exerted under the directions of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to boost the tourism sector in Egypt?
Well, of course, in the past 9 years, Egypt's tourism sector has been remarkable attention from the political leadership and from President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in light of its significance as a vital economic sector.
Yes.
The government under President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi administration has worked delightfully to boost the sector, ensuring that it remains competitive with other global tourism destinations.
Yes. Yes.
The state, represented by Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities, strives to improve and elevate the quality of tourism service to visitors, and the goal is to provide the services offered to tourists and the experience to be a unique experience.
Yes. So, Dr. Atif, you've now mentioned a very important point, which is the tourism sector, the efforts exerted by the Ministry of Tourism in order to cope with the international standards in the field of tourism. Like, for example, there are now hotels in Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada, which is environment friendly. Tell us about this point, important point, please.
Of course. I mean, in Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada, as you mentioned, there are hotels that are eco-friendly, of course, and this will enhance the number of tourists that would visit Egypt. Now, people, when they come and they want to visit the country, first thing they look about is how the place is environmentally friendly. And if we go back to what President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has done for the field of tourism, well, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi actually called for the COP27 that was held in Sharm el-Sheikh. And they declared Sharm el-Sheikh as an eco-friendly city, you know. Imagine all the groups and all the members and the leaders from all over the world who came to the COP27 to attend the conference of the COP27, and they went to Sharm el-Sheikh. This had very good feedback and increased the number of travelers for sure that came to Egypt, and that pours in the idea of environmentally controlled sites and destinations.
Yes, so Dr. Atif, also we know that the tourism and the tourism sector is a national income to Egypt beside the Suez Canal. So
Yes.
How do you see the importance of this sector for economy in Egypt, as Egypt have a strategy have succeeded to achieve rapid growth ranging from 25 to 30% annually in tourism industry?
Sure. The travel tourism industry in Egypt is one of the country's leading economic sectors, generating about 389 billion Egyptian pounds for the GDP in 2018-2019. About 90% of the direct travel and tourism contribution to Egypt comes from leisure spending compared to 12% of the business spending. Travel and tourism sector is also a major employer element in the country, with the workforce of almost 4 million Egyptians are working in the field of tourism, according to the statistics of 2021-2022. So that reflects the importance of the tourism sector as the second main source of Egypt's GDP and the Egyptian economy after the agricultural exports. So that's how important it is. There are lots of other industries that serve and work parallel with tourism. Not only we're talking about hotels and tourism operations, but we're talking about agriculture. We're talking about the food supply sector. We're talking about recruitment. We're talking about lots of elements that actually pours in the benefit of the Egyptians because of tourism. And the Egyptian government is working hard to increase the number of the visitors, and we see advertisement wide and straight to increase the number of travelers that would come and visit Egypt by 25 to 30%.
Yes, so Dr. Atif, also in a notable move by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the President approved the law number 27 of the year 2023, which pertains to the establishment of and regulation of tourism chambers. So how do you see the importance of this law and this step?
Well, the law, the new law that you mentioned, of course, it improves the atmosphere of investment in Egypt and regulates the role of the tourism chambers to be very effective in the field of tourism. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi actually improved and called for the improvement of the law number 27
of the year 23.
Yes.
Number 27.
Number 27 of the year 23.
Yes.
And by the way, the previous law was in 1968. Can you imagine?
Yes.
So the law has not been improved,
Yes.
not been regulated
Yes.
since 1968.
Yes.
So it had lots of gaps,
Yes.
if I can say. And the new law creates a balance between the finding and the regulation or regulating and the management of the tourist chambers based on democratic basis, and also protects the resources of the chambers from any deficiencies, if I can say. The law will regulate the elections also of the tourism chambers board members to make sure that the come out of it will be the best for the tourism section in Egypt, or the tourism sector in Egypt.
Yes, of course, it's a notable move by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Also,
Sure.
Dr. Atif, you are a holder of PhD in Heritage and Museum Studies.
Yes.
So, concerning the museums, there has been a large number of restoration work and renovation work that took place all over the museums that are distributed all over Egypt in several governorates in the past years. There has been renovation to the old museums, and also there has been new museums that has been inaugurated in several governorates in Egypt. So give us your insight concerning the importance of this.
Before we talk about what Egypt has done in the field of museums, just to make it clear how important the museums are for the tourism industry, if we talk about the mask of King Tutankhamun, for instance, if it's still in the tomb in the Valley of the Kings, it's still just a mask in the tomb in the Valley of the Kings. But when we move it from the tomb in the Valley of the Kings to the museum with all the regulations of the museum and with all the display elements of the museum. Then we moved it from just an item inside the tomb, and we did what we call a musealization to have it on display. So this is simply what musealization means, and this is simply how museums are important for the section of tourism. Now,
Yes.
back to the museums in Egypt, and I can proudly say that Egypt has been building museums and opening museums, integrating museums in different cities. We have museums now in almost every city. We have museums, of course, in Cairo. We have the Old Egyptian Museum. We have the GEM, the Grand Egyptian
Yes.
Museum. We have that will be opened, of course, in November of this year,
Yes.
and that would be the actually
Yes.
the largest
Yes.
museum that
Yes.
accommodates artifacts all over the world.
Yes.
We have so this word. I mean, we have the NEMC, the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization, El Minya Museum,
Yes.
Sharm el-Sheikh Museum,
Yes, of course.
Sohag Museum. So
Yes.
in every state, almost we have a museum, and this will give and encourage people to spend more touristic
Yes.
nights in Egypt and will pour in the benefit of the tourism section.
Yes, I thank you very much for your time, for your valuable information, Dr. Amr Atif, the tourism expert. Thank you very much for joining us over the phone. Well, media professionals and elite figures celebrated the 89th Egyptian Media Day at El Hanager Cinema, Cairo Opera House. The celebration have witnessed a documentary dedicated to the media icon Hassan Hamid in recognition of his role in influencing Egyptian and radio media. Nile TV's correspondent Minna Dusui was there and filed in the following report. I leave you with the report, and with this we come to the end of this episode of our program Cairo Local Time. My name is Amal Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.
Occasion of Egyptian Media Day, a ceremony was held at Al Hanager Cinema Center at Cairo Opera House. Egyptian media figures were invited by specialized Nile Channel sector to attend a documentary film called Al Ustaz, or The Professor, dedicated to the great Hassan Hamid, the Egyptian media icon. The film celebrates his achievements and his journey